right, well here we are in Midland, Texas at the Midland Airshow, high sky wing, and I'm going to do a little bit of a voiceover of what I'm looking at, what I'm thinking about when I'm flying this airshow. Here we are on takeoff. In this airshow I'm actually flying with two other T-28s in somewhat of a Vietnam demo act. There's some pyro involved, and it was a really fun show flying with these guys. They're very, very good pilots. You can see a T-28 over the shoulder there, peeling off as I take off. As we build up some speed here, you're going to see that got the gear up, got the flaps up. I'm going to go out, turn around, and the first pass is going to be a banana pass, just coming back by the crowd, the opposite direction I took off. This was very well briefed with the other pilots I'm flying with, as well as the air boss, and since I'm coming in so fast, I make sure that I see both T-28s and they know what I'm doing before I come back into the airspace. As you can see here, turning around, got the airport in sight, got the box in sight, setting up for a high speed banana pass, right to left. There we go, coming around. Yeah, somewhere about 450 knots. It's not the fastest pass I do, but it's fast enough. Looking good. Pull up out of the box. You can see I go to the left here, make sure I see that other T-28, and then back to the right to go reposition for the next pass. I get a lot of questions about the water vapor that's coming out of the air vents. That's all that is. It's just some condensation from the air conditioner. It's not smoke or anything like that. It's just water vapor. These old jets and some of the older aircraft, when they blow the air conditioning at you, you get some ice chunks even sometimes and some water. That's all that is. Setting up for a high-speed pass here. The A4 has an amazing sound. You can hear the intake sound coming towards the crowd, and it has an amazing rumble. For a non-afterburning jet, it has a great sound. The crowd really likes to hear the thing at full power. You can see that water vapor I'm talking about there. So now I pull up and go high and around the airspace. I'm going to make sure I get a good view of both of the T-28s that are doing. Some of them are actually doing strafing runs. A couple of them doing strafing runs and a bomb drop run, simulated, of course, working with the blasters down in Midland. And I'm also going to have a small 500-foot wall of fire on one of these passes. You'll be able to see it. It's pretty cool. Every now and then you'll see me talking through my mic, and I'm actually talking to the air boss and the other T-28s. I want them to know that I see them before I dive in. You can see on the left side there, just left of the runway, you can see one T-28 with smoke on. You can see him no problem. The other one's off to the right behind the crowd. Nice repositioning turn. Talking to them, reminding them what I'm going to be setting up for next, making sure that I can see them before I dive into the airshow box. It's very important when you're flying with other aircraft. And if I don't see them, I don't dive into the airshow box. That's the plan. That's what we stick to. Another banana pass, right to left. Go around the corner markers here. You can see a little bit of vapor every now and then. The Midland air is pretty dry, but the A4 manages to pull some vapor out of the air still every now and then. And no more than 500 knots on these passes. I'm carrying hard points or drop tanks and blivets underneath the wing. They have speed limits and G limits, and I try to keep the G loads under 5 Gs as well, just to be good to the aircraft. There's no sense in being hard on the jet Crowd likes the way it sounds. They're amazed they fly anyway, as we always say, so no sense in tearing the jet up. Puts on a good show, keeping the G's under 5 and the speed under 500 knots. This, I believe, is the wall of fire. If you look down the bottom of the screen, you'll see the bombs blow up. Boom, right there. Kind of cool. The blasters are really good. They timed it perfectly. You got some really good shots out of that. To make those bombs, they actually use gasoline. It's usually around 2.5 gallons of gasoline in a pouch that is sitting on top of a det cord hooked to a charged detonator, so they can fire those off whenever they want. Over my left shoulder there, you can see the big plume of smoke from the wall of fire there coming out of the ground. That's cool. I'm really lucky to be flying this thing around in air conditioning. It's a lot of work to maneuver these aircraft around, and the guys in the D-28 definitely don't have air conditioning, so I try not to complain about how hot it is. You can see I put the hook down there on my right side. We're going to do a hook down pass. You got a hook, you got to do a hook down pass every now and then, and the A4's got a nice, really long, prominent hook, so I'll slow the thing down to about 250 knots with the hook down and pass by in a level pass in front of the crowd. You can see that smoke plume up ahead of me from that wall of fire. A little bit of an on-crowd wind. See the hook down there. About halfway in front of the crowd, I go full power so they can hear the engine rumble. Hook's coming up. And slowly climb out of the aerobatic box. It's always cool when you can see the shadow on the ground. You can see the slats coming out. Of course, those are aerodynamically activated by G-load or just the air, depending on how slow you are or how much G you're pulling. An amazing design by Ed Heineman. Relatively simple, works great. The Blue Angels, when they flew the A4 from 1974 to 1986, they actually had theirs bolted up, because the slats do sometimes, from jet to jet, have a little bit of a mind of their own. Of course, they couldn't have that being so close together in formation and doing the stuff they were doing. So they actually bolted theirs up. Right now I'm just flying around. The T-28s are doing banana passes or photo passes, and I'm going to be falling in behind them, so I'm making sure I see them both. Got them in sight. I can see that if I turned in right now, I would overrun them, so I'm just going to do a nice little repositioning turn, come back around, get them in sight. Because they're doing their photo passes probably around 180 to 200 knots, whereas I'm going to come through there at least at 450 knots, so I like to make sure that they're cleared before I do that. And after their photo pass, they're going to stay in right traffic, come down and land. I'm going to peel off to the left, do another pass, overhead brake to landing. So here I come towards the Airshow box again. Got them both in sight. I'm going to do my last photo pass. From crowd left to crowd right. A little bit of vapor there, looking good. T-28's out there to the right, so I'll peel off back to the left. At this point, we're talking to the air boss. The T-28s are recovering. They're in the traffic pattern to land. And I'm going to come back around for another pass and then brake to landing. An amazing show in Midland. We really, really love it. It's actually my hometown show. I was born and raised about 50 miles east of there. Grew up going to that show every year. It's what inspired me to be a pilot in the first place. So it's always special and just really an honor to get to fly that air show. The A4 typically, people ask this, you know, I'm not landing just yet, but how fast does it land? Generally, we don't come in below 150 knots in the pattern, and then your final approach speed really just depends on how heavy you are and the type of landing you're doing. Navy-style landing going to the carrier on landing on the boat would be 1.16 on the AOA, whereas more normal style, or Air Force style, I guess some people would call it, is 1.3. I usually vary between those depending on the length of runway I have and where I'm landing. So you can see this is somewhat of a brake to landing. Pull up, speed brakes will come out. Hard to see them, bottom left side of the screen. You can kind of see the hinges. Speed brakes are out. Slowing down. Want to be slow enough to put the gear out, and then slow enough to put the flaps out, and prepare to come around to land. Like I said, no slower than 150 knots. The slats start to come out about 200. Here comes the gear. Once the gear is down and locked, below flap speed, flaps will come down. You'll be able to see them back there. There they come. We just go flaps all the way to full. And coming around about 150 knots minimum. Coming around the corner. There you go, see the runway. Slats about half out on final approach. Seems to be right about correct. If you have the slats bouncing about half, that means you're a pretty good approach speed. See them dancing around. Then when I flare, you'll see them come all the way out, and then you'll see them stow completely when the nose wheel comes down. There we go, touch down, stow completely, the nose wheel comes down. And they won't come down again until I slow down enough that the air, the wind that I'm hitting, is not pushing them up. Spoilers on the left side of the screen, the spoilers are up. Those increase the weight on wheels as much as 200% to allow for effective braking, which I don't usually start pushing the brake until about 100 knots. This one has nose wheel steering, which is really nice. Really helps a lot steering this aircraft on the ground versus not having nose wheel steering like the other A4s I've flown. There, nice and slow, plenty of runway left. Gonna exit on this other runway. Air boss is telling me where to go. Shout out to Kelly, she's an awesome air boss. Really did a good job coordinating us. All right, so that's what it's like to fly an air show from the perspective of the cockpit of the A4. And thanks again for Jim and for Joey for flying in the airspace with me in their T-28s, and it was a lot of fun. Great pilots, always professional, and it's really fun to fly with them. Thanks to Kelly, air boss. Thanks to Gina and Dave for letting us bring the A4 to Midland and do my hometown show. It just means the world to me. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Please drop a comment. Let us know what you think, or maybe other things you want to see. But thanks again for watching, and see you in the next video.